Between Diddy and Epstein, there's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that the people on those videos are lecturing the rest of us about our moral failings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
What is that?
Well, I mean, part of how they deflect attention from themselves is by, criticizing the morals of others.
Yes.
It's sort of like a preemptive moral strike.
Elon Musk just stepped into the chat, and he sent out a major warning to every celebrity who was freaking off at Diddy's parties by to expose the freak-off videos. Not too long ago, it was revealed by the lawyer of one of Diddy's recent SA victims that the freak-off tapes were getting auctioned behind the scenes, in that there were several powerful people trying to buy them so they wouldn't get released, because they were also in them tapes. But see, this is where things started getting messy, because word on the street is Elon just bought the tapes for millions of dollars, and he's more than ready to release them. Apparently, he's doing this because Diddy was one of the big investors in his $44 billion purchase of Twitter. However, since Diddy's been caught up in all this mess, he's been trying to get him to step down. In fact, Elon himself hinted at this just a few days ago, and at the time, people thought he was just trolling like he always do. But it turns out he actually has these tapes, and these celebrities are shaking in their boots as we speak. Elon ain't just some regular person that they can blackmail into keeping quiet. And this is really tripping them out because they know he can drop them tapes at any moment now. Now, like I said before, the whole reason Elon even got his hands on them tapes is because they were for sale, and he was one of the people who put a big buck on the table to get them. The rumors about the tape being up for sale all started when the attorney Ariel Mitchell Kidd, who's currently representing one of Diddy's SA victims, appeared in an interview, and she spilled the tea about what Diddy did to her client as well as the freak-off tape going around in which people believe got bought by Elon Musk. Now, Ariel didn't mention the name of her client, but she claimed that her client met Diddy back in 2018 at her friend's house. However, things quickly got bad after she fell unconscious from drinking a few glasses of alcohol that had been spiked by Diddy. According to Ariel, her client got SA'd with an inanimate object by Diddy and one of his goons. She was still somewhat conscious to what was happening to her, but she wasn't strong enough to fight them off because of what they put in her drink. After Diddy was done with her, he made his goons have his way with her too, and he just watched while he pleased himself.
So she called me and told me a very horrific story about her and her escape from the assault. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Coram, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing her, and then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy, and then Mr. Combs her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to her while he watched and pleasured himself.
After hours of the continuous SA, she tried to run out of the house and got to screaming for help. Luckily for her, one of her neighbors heard her screaming and immediately came into the house and called the cops.
So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming, and a neighbor heard her because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood, if you will.
So there's a witness?
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report. As she's running out the house yelling, a neighbor saw her and invited her into the home.
Okay.
And it's the neighbor who then called the police, and the police did come out at that time. They also stated that they heard cars screeching, and the neighbor went outside and saw a black SUV leaving the premises very quickly. And by the time the police arrived, of course, he was no longer there.
Well, was the neighbor able to identify who it was?
The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and
Okay.
they only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly.
She must have been terrified.
Now, Ariel claims that even after her client made this police report, the cops barely did anything to investigate the case, and she suspects it's because Diddy paid them off.
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report, and that was made in 2018. that she, when she initially filed the police report, she didn't name Diddy out of fear of retaliation, and more importantly, fear that no one would believe her.
Right.
So she then updated that report, and we've been working with law enforcement to have them actually look into that report. They didn't do too much. The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and
Okay.
they'd only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly.
She must have been terrified.
Hearing her tell this story, her voice was trembling. She was in tears. I actually had to stop her at one point and tell her, take a second, because I can tell, even having her tell me this story, reliving it, was extremely painful. It was like it happened yesterday. I can tell she's very traumatized by what happened to her. She really is looking to seek justice.
Now, this is where the interview got a little messy because Ariel revealed that another person reached out to her to represent them in the sale of this freak-off tape between Diddy and a certain high-profile celebrity. Ariel said she got to see the video herself, and according to her, the other high-profile celebrity in the video is even more high-profile than Diddy. Not only that, but the person seemed unaware that they were being filmed.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
Yes.
the shopping thing is
Yes,
new.
there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before. So like a catch and
Correct.
wow. Can you? And I guess you can't reveal the person who is on.
No,
the
I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really, really, and you've seen it? Or
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was in nature.
Oh my. All right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes. This was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded it.
All right.
Oh, but it gets even worse, y'all. Because shortly after this, Diddy was slapped with over 120 lawsuits from 120 different victims, all being represented by the Texas attorney, Tony Busby. And this is where Elon Musk stepped his way into the chat and hinted at having them tapes. Some of the victims were minors at the time of the essay. 60 of his victims were males and 60 were females, and 25 were minors at the time of the alleged misconduct, with one individual being 9 years old.
There is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violence to facilitated with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment of minors.
Now, for those of y'all that's wondering what minors he was talking about, it included a 9-year-old boy who went to an audition to get a record deal with Diddy's Bad Boy Records. But instead of getting signed, he was SA'd by Diddy and his goons.
Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual minor was.
Someone put up a tweet that said, "How many other cases are there like this that we don't know about in the music industry?" To which he replied, "Good question." Now, like I said before, some people were trying to drag Elon into this, but he wasn't a part of all of that freak-off mess. And it's even being rumored that he's the one who bought the freak-off tape of Diddy that Ariel Mitchell was talking about. Now, it's real unclear why exactly Elon would go out of his way to buy that tape, but as usual, people went into detective mode and pulled up a few receipts that may explain why. It turns out that Diddy was one of the investors who pumped millions of dollars into Elon's takeover of Twitter. According to TMZ, Diddy played a secret role in Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. He was among the investors who helped Elon buy the Bird app, and fashion mogul invested north of $10 million for the social media service. But this is where things get messy, because just like everybody else, Elon is no longer interested in being associated with Diddy, and according to reports, he's trying to get Diddy to step out of the contract since all this mess started. But Diddy's been real stubborn, and as a result of this, he bought the tape so he could use it as leverage in blackmailing Diddy to step out of their contract, because he don't want his mess with Diddy interfering with his company and whatever he got going on. Someone on Twitter pulled up the contract, which clearly indicated Diddy as one of the investors, as well as Elon having so many nice things to say about Diddy being chairman at Revolt TV. A full list of investors in Elon Musk's Twitter deal was reported yesterday. One investor's name that's raising eyebrows is Sean Diddy Combs. Our book, Character Limit, has a fun little anecdote about Diddy's investment. During the first week of his takeover, Elon had to join a call with advertisers in an attempt to calm their nerves about it. Here's what Musk said to the head of Diddy's media company Revolt over concerns of growing racism on the platform. Not only that, but in a recent interview that Elon did, he revealed that there were thousands of hours of freak-off footage between Diddy and Epstein, and this further made people believe that he was one of the people who bought the tape.
Between Diddy and Epstein, there's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that the people on those videos are lecturing the rest of us about our moral failings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
What is that?
Well, I mean, part of how they deflect attention from themselves is by criticizing the morals of others.
Yes.
It's sort of like a preemptive moral strike.
Child, Elon clearly has a vendetta against Diddy, and this one explains why he would buy that tape. He's now holding it over Diddy's head to do everything he wants, and as soon as Diddy gets out of line, he's gonna leak it to the nearest media publication he can get his hands on. As usual, people had their own thoughts about this, like this person who said, both Elon Musk and Trump met Jeffrey Epstein and Diddy privately and publicly several times. It is well known that Diddy was Trump's hookup when Epstein was gone. Trump is a verified creep, 100%. Another person said, last time I checked, Elon was getting financial assistance from Diddy to purchase X, and Elon was financially supporting Trump monthly. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do y'all think about Elon exposing Diddy? And do y'all think he's the one who really bought them tapes? Y'all been knew what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.